That's right, I'm doing videos standing up now. Consider your mind blown. So you may have heard about Nintendo going on the warpath yet again to destroy all ROMs, or you may have heard about it in the past, or you may be hearing about it again in the future as the endless cycle of Nintendo versus not understanding the internet continues on and on until the heat death of the universe, which is fitting because Nintendo is the lovable grandparents of the video game world. But much like millennials in their avocado toast really gets my grandma's knickers in a bind, Nintendo just can't stand ROMs.
I'm gonna be able to come back up next time and kick your ass.
They have an entire FAQ page, a long one at that, about how illegal ROMs are. No matter whether you own the game or promise not to distribute them or whatever, bish, Nintendo don't care. They don't want you to have ROMs. Most recently, they have targeted Love ROMs and LoveRetro.com, two major distributors of ROMs online, and instead of actually giving them a cease and desist little tap on the shoulder warning like they used to, they've gone right for the big guns and they're suing for $150 million. And while this is nothing new or exciting, the thing that's really got people torn up is that Emu Paradise, one of the most popular ROM and emulator provider websites, has voluntarily taken down all of their ROMs, meaning Nintendo got what they wanted and have started scaring off the competition. They've made an example out of two websites showing that, hey, if you're gonna distribute our intellectual property, we're gonna destroy you. But is Nintendo wrong? Let's take a look at this from both sides of the argument. First of all, you have no right to free games. None of us do. Nintendo owns the rights to these games, and if they choose to put them on a shelf and never sell them again, that's their business. Legally, they are 100% in the right, and it's really hard to make any sort of argument against that. When I used to play a lot of ROMs, it took me a grand total of 5 minutes to find an entire zip folder called Every Super Nintendo ROM Ever, and it was. Plus, free ROMs deter people from actually paying for games. You can't say they don't, because I know personally, I have passed on rebuying a lot of virtual console games because I can just play them for free on the computer. Plus, if Nintendo isn't actually pulling in any revenue from you enjoying these games, you're never gonna get a sequel or further content from them. You want a sequel to Mother in America? Maybe you should buy a SNES Mini instead of playing it for free online. Nintendo can't gauge hundreds of thousands of fans playing a game online for free that they've stolen. That's where it starts to hurt you, the fans. Now, where things start to get a little dicier is when Nintendo says they're losing a potential $100 million worth of sales. Are they losing some money? Undeniably. Is it $100 million where they say it's up to $10,000 a game of lost revenue? I don't know. Do you think these games are going to generate $10,000 in revenue? Because I don't think so. But of course, ROMs have a lot of benefit too, and not just the fact that they're free and I like to get free stuff, because that is not a good argument. Games are tough to maintain. Cartridges suck. Could you imagine having to give Fortnite a 5-minute cartridge blowy every time you wanted to play? No, but that's what we used to have to do for every single game, and that's when they were new. Now that they're 25 years old, you're lucky to get them to work at all. Also, I swear to God, if you go down to those comments and type in, blowing on the cartridge doesn't really help anything. Everybody knows that, all right? You're not smart. If you put that in the comments, I will put you on Reddit. But there is a very good reason for wanting to preserve games and not just playing them. Games have become a part of our culture. I mean, just look at how prevalent Mario or Fortnite is in your every day-to-day life. These are household names.
Who are the Mario brothers?
I don't know. The hockey players?
All I can think of is the guy in the library, Mario Puzi.
I mean, imagine if it wasn't for ROMs, would any of us have even heard of Earthbound? And game companies, quite frankly, just can't be trusted to preserve these things. Sega lost the source code to Panzer Dragoon, a game they could absolutely be reselling right now. There's even reason to believe that Nintendo themselves released a ROM version of Super Mario Bros. When they ported it to the Wii in the Virtual Console. Nintendo had to use a ROM for their biggest game ever. And that doesn't even count the numerous games that would be lost purely due to licensing hell. So many games out there that are owned by this company, which is bankrupt and gone, or half the rights owned by this movie company and half the rights owned by this video game company. Those games are never gonna see the light of legal distribution again. Even the legal ways to procure a lot of these games are just quite frankly not good and not financially efficient. NES Mini, SNES Mini are hard to find. They're really expensive for a lot of people, won't be able to afford them. There's no good online services. The virtual console games expire between every console. Can't buy a game on the 3DS and play it on the Wii or the Switch. Why? So who's right, who's wrong here? Well, I don't think it's really one of those clear-cut issues, but there are some possible solutions. If you want to focus on games being part of our culture that need to be preserved, then Nintendo and the like, you can work with organizations like the Game Preservation Society or the Video Game History Foundation. At least then we could ensure that games are being preserved correctly and safely, that then they'll be there for whenever there does become a better way of distribution for them. On Nintendo's side, if they would just make their eShop playable across platforms, or if they would provide consoles like the NES Mini and SNES Mini with an expanding library over time, where they would continue to offer more games, even if it was based on a subscription service, would be another amazing solution. Really, ideally, for me, a solution that would never happen, but my number one would be just a Netflix-style subscription. Let me pay you $10 a month to have access to all the classic games, Nintendo. Just do that. Just make it a subscription. Reggie, hit me up, my boy. I'm a $1 million idea machine. See you later, Nintendo. As always, thank you for watching this video. I've been Wigwam. I hope you enjoyed this content. Subscribe and leave it a like if you did. Catch me on Twitch, whatever. It's all down there. You know the stuff. Whatever. Bye-bye.